Okay, so get this. I'm doing the whole college tour thing with my daughter recently. Whirlwind trip, beautiful campuses, students giving the pitch, the whole shebang.
Ah, that campus tour experience. Been there.
Right. And while, everyone else is zeroed in on like acceptance rates or how big the dorm rooms are, my brain kind of went somewhere else.
Oh, where'd it go?
I started looking at these universities, these places meant to be shaping the future workforce, right? But I was looking at them through this AI lens, artificial intelligence, leadership, how organizations actually work.
Interesting perspective. Sort of like microcosms of the future.
Exactly. And what really jumped out at me pretty much everywhere we went was this lack of, a structured approach to AI. It just wasn't there.
What do you mean by lack of structure? Like, what did you actually see happening?
It was mostly one of two things. Either you had these sort of blanket bans, no chat GPT for essays kind of rules.
Okay, the prohibition approach.
Yeah, or the complete opposite, just leaving it totally up to individual professors or departments to figure out on their own.
Ah, the decentralized, let's see what happens model.
Precisely. There was no sense of a bigger strategy, no institutional vision, no clear acknowledgement from the top saying, hey, this AI thing is huge, it's transformative, and here's how we're going to handle it.
So very reactive rather than proactive, treating it more like a problem to be managed or maybe a novelty instead of a fundamental shift.
That's exactly how it felt, like dealing with a potential cheating tool or maybe just the latest tech fad. And here's the kicker, the really interesting part.
Okay.
This kind of ad hoc, inconsistent approach you see in universities, this lack of a unified game plan, it's not just an academic issue.
You're seeing parallels elsewhere.
It's a dead ringer for what's happening in so many businesses in the corporate world. And that parallel, I think that's the real danger zone we need to dive into today.
Right. So that's our mission for this deep dive, to unpack this shared lack of AI readiness in schools and in companies based on these patterns.
You got it. Let's explore that.
Okay, so picking up on your college tour observations, that spectrum you saw, from total bans to, faculty free-for-alls, that really does mirror what we're seeing in the corporate landscape, doesn't it? Some companies seem to be acting like AI isn't even a thing yet. No policies, no guidelines, just nothing.
Business as usual.
Pretty much. Then you've got others where there are pockets of activity. Maybe the marketing team is trying out an AI writer, or R&D is experimenting with data analysis tools.
Which sounds positive on the surface, right? Innovation happening.
It can be, but, for starters, duplication of effort is a big one. You might have 3 different departments all trying to solve similar problems, maybe even buying or building slightly different AI tools to do it.
So wasted resources, tool sprawl.
Messy.
Exactly. It gets messy, inefficient, there's no standardization, and crucially, there's often a lack of accountability. Who's responsible if an AI tool gives biased results or leaks sensitive data?
Good point. Ethical blind spots too, then.
Absolutely. And these isolated experiments, they might not even be aligned with the company's main strategic goals. Are they actually helping the bottom line? Are they improving the right things?
So you get lots of potentially interesting little projects, but they're all siloed off. Nobody's sharing what they learn. Nobody knows if it's actually effective overall or even contributing to the bigger picture.
Right. It's like everyone's tinkering in their own garage, but nobody's actually coordinating to build a car. You're missing that huge opportunity to build real organization-wide AI maturity. Aligned with goals, managing risks properly, thinking about ROI, and does the data back this up? This idea of lots of talk, but less coordinated action.
It really does. You look at the surveys and reports, loads of organizations say they're exploring generative AI. There's huge buzz around it.
Sure, you hear about it constantly.
But the number that have actually implemented it at scale with proper institutional governance, clear policies, oversight, defined roles for managing AI across the board, that number is still pretty small.
So mostly just dipping a toe in the water.
A lot of toe dipping, yes. Lots of isolated experiments. And often these experiments lack clear metrics for success. They're not always tied tightly to strategy, and there's frequently no real plan for how to sustain them or integrate them long term.
Okay, that makes sense. Which kind of leads us neatly into another critical piece, the skills.
The skills gap, yes.
We hear it all the time, right? The future of work demands digital literacy, and now increasingly AI competence. These are becoming table stakes.
Absolutely essential.
But if the universities aren't consistently building these skills in a structured way, and the companies aren't really rolling out scalable training for their existing workforce, mean, where are people supposed to actually learn this stuff properly?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It points to this really worrying gap that seems to be widening.
A gap between what?
Between the aspiration, everyone acknowledging AI is important, and the actual execution on the ground. The practical steps needed to build those skills, whether it's in the education system preparing new entrants or within companies upskilling the people they already have, it's just lagging way behind the talk.
So a major disconnect.
A really significant disconnect between saying AI matters and actually putting the structured learning and development in place to make people competent and confident with it.
It feels like a failure to connect the dots almost. Universities maybe aren't quite preparing students for the AI reality of the industries they're heading into.
Yeah.
And then the companies, even if they hire people with some AI awareness, often aren't set up to integrate AI strategically into how they actually operate day to day.
It's like they're operating on parallel tracks that aren't intersecting effectively. There's no shared playbook, no common understanding or collaborative framework between academia and industry on how to approach AI education and workforce integration.
And without that shared playbook,
well, you get uncertainty all over the place. Faculty are unsure how to teach with AI or about AI without, just enabling cheating.
Right.
Managers and companies, they often don't have clear guidance on how their team should be using these powerful new tools. What's okay, what's not, what are the best practices?
And the leaders, the executives?
They might be hesitant to make big investments if they don't fully grasp the risks or if the path to actual measurable return isn't clear. So everyone's sort of uncertain.
And that uncertainty isn't just an abstract problem. It has real consequences, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Tangible ones. You get inefficiency, like we talked about, teams reinventing the wheel.
Wasting time and money.
Exactly. You can get resistance from employees who feel threatened or just confused by AI.
Understandable if there's no clear communication or training.
And critically, without clear guardrails and oversight, companies open themselves up to serious risks, reputational, legal, ethical, if AI is used irresponsibly or inconsistently.
Okay, so if banning AI isn't the answer and just letting everyone do their own thing is also risky and inefficient, what is the path forward?
Well, it really comes down to something fundamental. We urgently need widespread AI literacy.
AI literacy. Okay, let's unpack that term because it sounds important, but what does it actually mean in practice? It's not just knowing how to use ChatGPT, I assume.
No, definitely not. It's much broader, much deeper than that. It starts with understanding the basic concepts, what AI actually is, and maybe just as importantly, what it isn't. Knowing its capabilities, but also its limitations.
So managing expectations.
Precisely. It's also about responsible and effective use. Being aware of potential biases baked into the algorithms, for instance.
Which is
huge. And understanding the ethical dimensions. When is it appropriate to use AI? When isn't it? What are the privacy implications? It's about grasping how AI impacts things like decision-making, productivity, even a company's competitive advantage.
So it's a pretty comprehensive understanding we're talking about.
It is. And crucially, this isn't something that can just live in the computer science department or the IT team.
Right, it can't be siloed.
No. This literacy needs to be woven through everything, across different subjects in universities, across different roles and departments in a company, from the front line to the C-suite.
That sounds like a major undertaking. How do institutions actually achieve that?
It requires real commitment. It needs deliberate planning from the top. It needs significant, sustained investment in training, in resources, in developing new curricula or policies.
And leadership, presumably.
Absolutely critical. Strong leadership that truly champions AI literacy, that makes it a core strategic priority, whether that's for the university or the corporation. It has to be driven.
So, thinking back to those college tours again, it really crystallizes the idea that this lack of a consistent strategic AI approach in schools isn't just an academic problem.
No, it's fundamentally a workforce issue.
Right, because these are people entering the job market soon. And if they graduate unprepared for an AI-driven workplace...
And they land in companies that are also unprepared, lacking strategy and governance.
You're just compounding the problem.
Exactly. You multiply the risks of poor AI implementation, inconsistent use, lack of oversight, ethical missteps. It all gets amplified.
We miss out on the upside too, right?
We miss a massive opportunity, the chance to harness AI's power in ways that are truly beneficial, that are ethical, inclusive, and actually make a positive impact. We risk fumbling the ball.
It really feels like AI has crossed a threshold. It's not some niche tech topic anymore, not an elective you can skip.
Agreed. It's becoming, as you sort of hinted earlier, like a core curriculum for the modern world. You need to understand it to navigate effectively.
So unless we see this real shift toward alignment between education and industry, towards clear strategies, towards moving past fear or hype into informed, proactive action,
then we risk setting up the next generation to struggle rather than lead. Struggling to adapt to an AI-shaped world instead of actively shaping it themselves.
Yeah. That parallel you saw on the college tours is genuinely concerning, isn't it? This mirrored lack of preparedness for AI's impact, both in the places educating people and the places employing them.
It is. It highlights a systemic vulnerability, really.
So, maybe a question for everyone listening. Take a second and think about your own world, your company, your industry, maybe even your own field of study. How is it grappling with AI? Are you seeing a clear strategy? Are people being equipped with the right skills?
Or does it feel more like those scattered experiments and reactive policies we've been talking about?
Because ultimately what's really essential now is that commitment. A commitment to building genuine AI literacy top to bottom and weaving strategic integration into the fabric of our institutions. Moving beyond just the buzzwords or the anxieties.
Exactly. Focusing on building that foundational understanding that allows for informed, responsible action. That's the key.
And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. If we don't proactively build that understanding, if we don't put these frameworks in place now, what are the unintended consequences we might stumble into down the road? Not just for big organizations, but for your own career, for society's progress overall. Definitely something worth mulling over. Okay, so get this.